So as I mentioned earlier, I'm a PM at Microsoft, and my journey into this job and into product itself started in college, specifically junior and senior years. When I started college, I think the main thing I knew is that I wanted to help people. And for me, the conduit to do that through was pre-med. So I was freshman pre-med, specifically a neuroscience major. And I think the neuroscience classes I took and the neuroscience lab that I worked at as a freshman and half of sophomore year were really impactful for me. I really just love the number crunching aspect of it, the experiments that we would get to do and how you would design those and how you would implement those. I also really enjoyed the people in my neuroscience lab, and I think for me, the work that I was doing, which was being able to code the experiments that we had designed that would eventually be shown to the subjects, and actually working with our experiment subjects themselves, learning more about them, how they perceive everything. Those were all things that I really enjoyed doing. So even when at the end of freshman year, when I was shadowing and I decided, maybe pre-med isn't the best route for me, I realized there are other things I can do with what I like and to be able to help people as well at the same time. And so my neuroscience lab experience led me to statistic and comp sci classes. I ended up majoring in statistics and minoring in comp sci. And those, I think, were really what helped me get my foot in the door in terms of learning more about tech and realizing that, oh, hey, PM is a project. Not a project. PM is just a really cool role, and it's something that I think I could really love. And so I focused on that when I was recruiting my junior year for my internship. I had been doing consulting and PM at the same time, and I think practicing with my friends, casing for those, really helped me practice kind of approaching things, figuring out, hey, what are my initial thoughts and strategies, and how can I match this with the best practices and learn skills to be able to produce something that's executable and of value to other people. And from that, I realized the cases I liked the most were tech as well. So I ended up deciding my junior summer to intern at Charles Schwab for product management with the digital security and self-service team, which was in itself such a great experience. The team was just absolutely amazing, and they were working on such a cool range of portfolio projects. And I think looking back, I'm so fortunate to have had that experience with them and to be able to learn from them. A lot of their projects were just almost everywhere in the cycle, and it allowed me to really get a good idea of what things look like at different parts of their pipelines. So we were doing user mapping for one, and I had helped with understanding, gathering data for the funnels of different entry points for the sign-on page. There were other things too, like midway, like how do we deal with the edge cases or the issues that are arising in the middle of our implementation. If something needs a migration, how do we do that in a smooth way that also matches our timeline that we're looking at for users? Even towards the end of the cycle, like now we're about to ship, like what are the things that we need to focus on? What are the metrics that we're going to track to ensure its success afterwards? So all of that, the whole timeline, I think, was something that I really learned and I really appreciated after that internship. I joined Microsoft as a full-time PM after graduating my senior year. So just kind of a recap of what I mentioned earlier, I am on Bing Performance, which is essentially how fast the website is, the website being our Bing search engine results page, which we call SERP. It's been a really, really great combination of a lot of metrics analysis, and it is really awesome to be able to work with just so many different kinds of people who are working on all different parts of the product itself. My position allows me to interface with not only people on the back end side for our server stack, but also on the front end side, people who are working on the machine learning models to be able to help our ranking of search results be more accurate. People who are trying to ship really cool features like a COVID tracker or other answers on the page that will help the user find what they need better. Being able to kind of understand the roles that each of these play within the org and work alongside them to be able to ship smoothly and to be able to improve the product while making sure our latency doesn't regress either. Those have been really cool for me to be able to just experience and learn a lot from. I think in terms of the skills that I think have helped me the most, where I'm learning them from, I think part of it is on the field. But I also think that college taught me like a lot of soft and hard skills that I've needed to succeed here. So I think part of that is the statistics classes. I think that they have helped a lot with helping me be more comfortable with numbers. Every week when we look at the numbers and where the regressions are, or when we see the A/B scorecard of what an experiment's impact is, how we interpret and extract out understandings from that in those runs, whether or not we need a new one, whether or not this looks good versus like we cannot ship this. A lot of things that have helped me are from my statistics classes and being able to be comfortable with numbers and find value in spending time with them and deriving interpretations from them. And I think the second class in college that I really enjoyed, that I think contributed a lot, is an authentic leadership class that I had taken. And that was a lot about how you are as a leader, what it means to authentically lead. Who are you at a core in terms of what your leadership style, acknowledging that everyone is a different kind of leader. Everyone finds different things important. You're very much shaped by what kind of experiences you've had leading up to this point. And I think that class helped me understand a lot that PM is about, or rather not that it helped me understand what PM is about, but rather that it helped me apply a lot of skills that are important as a PM to the workplace. For example, things like how would you solve a problem? What's your initial reaction? And when you think about that, why is that your initial reaction? And considering all of that, would you still have the same reaction going forward, or should you change your approach to something? And so I think this was a really helpful class for me in terms of learning more of the soft skills part of it, more people skills, and being able to navigate those relationships with others while being mindful of everything else that you have on your plate as well.
With our courses, you will go from being a candidate to being the candidate. Sign up below to attend a PM interview webinar where we mock interview an expert PM from Google to show you what 10 out of 10 interview responses look like.